be honest with you because, the era in which I'm born and I think the term is elder millennial. I don't know. But I'm born right at a cusp of switching. My parents were part of the industrial age, and then we moved into this information age. And so just making money through industry came to lifting, moving, shaking, like doing hard work. So we had a lot of people who went to trade schools and plumbers, electricians, carpenters, welders, etc. Manufacturing was huge during that time. And then as we move into the information age, where we can use a phone and generate revenue and money off of a phone, we can set an entire business up. There are apps that you use, 3, 4, 5 apps. You got a business set up and you're making money before the day ends. And you can have money in your bank account, if not that day, the very next day. So it's not about the industrial age versus the information age. What it's about is the ability to decide. You have to decide what you want. Deciding what you want is key. Now, once we make a clear decision on what we want, then we can set our intentions on how we're going to go about accomplishing that. You don't have to have the grit that your grandmother and your grandfather had. I was talking to a friend of mine and she was just telling me, she was like, she makes great money. And she said, yeah, my dad said I need to work more. She's not an entrepreneur. She's like, I should be working, because she works like 12-hour days quite a bit. And her, you work 12-hour days, you work mainly 3 12s and you're off 4 days a week. So she's like, yeah, my dad said I need to be working overtime every chance I get. Well, her dad comes from that clock in, clock out, you eat what you kill and that's it. And dad was probably making, at his best, $15, $20 an hour. And depending on when he retired, maybe $30 or $40 an hour. But she is over here making $80 and $90 an hour. So it's like, wait a second. She takes 2 of your checks equal 1 of my checks. I don't have to work as hard. Not to mention in my downtime, I have my money working for me. I have investments, or I'm doing something on YouTube, or I got a little hobby that I'm making a little side money on Etsy. So it's really about setting the intention to go, what am I doing over here? How do I want to accomplish the goal? So if I want to, have this life of just freedom and wealth, it's not always about making $20 million. It's about what can I do intentionally, by design, that works for me throughout the course of my day. Let's say you have a full-time job still. Okay, how can I start my business on the side? I've got to set my intentions to go, hey, I'm going to work 2 hours every day on this thing. Now, there are people that are born with an insane amount of drive. My daughter is one of them. She is driven. She's not going to quit. She's not going to give up. She does not want your help. She's going to try it over and over and over, and that's that. She gets that honest. My daughter's drive has a lot to do with her DNA, but it also has to do with environmental process. I encourage her to not quit and give up on things that she's already said she wanted. So I say, listen, no, we start something, we finish it. She's not allowed to start a sport and just quit the sport. She was having a rough time in gymnastics, and she said, I don't want to do this anymore. And the fact of the matter is, she didn't like how the teacher was talking to her. Not only did she not like it, I didn't like it. So I observed it, had a conversation with the teacher, reinforced, and said, ask my daughter, what do you need? Tell me what you need. I need you to be here. Really, what she wanted to do is feel safe. She had a male instructor, and she wanted to feel safe. So I said, okay, well, I'll show up. I showed up for a period. And she's like, I feel safe. I like this. And then the next thing she wanted to do is she wanted to feel challenged. So she had a lot of play. She was getting, the instructor was, and the coach was getting on her for playing a little too much. The fact is, she wasn't challenged enough. Now, I was fortunate and blessed enough to identify with this because the same thing happened to me. I was getting in trouble as a child and saying, hey, you're mischievous, you're getting everything. Well, I'm just not being challenged. You don't have all my focus because I don't need to give it all to you. I don't need but 20% of my focus to be on this, and then I'm doing my own thing. So he put her in a more challenging gymnastics program that caused her to have to use more of her focus. Same thing with you as an entrepreneur. You really are going, wait a second. It's not about grit. It's about the ability to say, wait, this drive Like, I'm not challenged enough, so I don't really try. And people think that I'm lazy, or people think that I have a crappy work ethic, or people think that, I'm not willing to grind my way and do it because I don't have to. That's it. You get what you're focused on. So the fact is, you don't have to focus as much on that. So it's your responsibility to go, wait a second, I need to add a little bit more on my plate on here to cause me to focus, or I need to bring something else in with this downtime. And it doesn't always have to be another business. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's you, spending more time taking care of your health. Maybe it's you contributing time to others. Maybe it's you being a big brother, big sister, being a part of one of those programs. But the fact of the matter is, you can become a high performer. It is not just about checking off boxes of grinding and getting things done. It's that environmental process of creating an environment that says, hey, I'm going to naturally succeed because I live and I breathe in an environment that produces success. So you got to set yourself up. That's what setting yourself up to win is. It's saying, how do I become successful? One of the things that I do is I don't have a second alarm. I don't create, I don't hit that snooze. Associate said, I set 8 to 9 alarms. I was like, what? Yeah, about every 5 minutes. And I give myself time to wake up. I was like, you're making yourself more tired. This goes against all science that's out there, all the data, every study, and all the elite schools. Like, what? This doesn't make sense. But I said, where'd you get this from? Oh, my mom did the same thing. So I grew up doing it. Environmental process. That's it. That process was followed over and over, then carbon copy, duplicated. So that's what they know. So a lot of this is really about just repetition of habits. And remember, I don't believe in good versus bad habits. I believe in old versus new habits. You got to create new habits to give you the outcome that you want, that you desire. So if you say, listen, am I a person do I want to become a high performer? Can I become a high performer? Yes, you can. You don't have to be born a high performer. There are people who are born with that drive, with that killer instinct. But it can also be developed. You start hanging around more high performers, more people with that insane drive, and you're going to find out right then. You're going to make a very clear decision. Okay, do I want this? And then once you make that decision, I told you got to make a decision what you want. Once you do that, then you set your intentions and say, how am I going to go about accomplishing this thing that I want?